So I was just in Cali. I would say California is one of the top places that I love to go just because I got people out there that's doing big things. I got a homegirl that's on the TV show. I got a couple girls that like do styling work for BET. Um, but I love New York. It's one of my favorite places to go as well. Right now, I'm really trying to get somewhere warm, like I don't know, like Bali, like somewhere on an island, Monaco.
Bora
I
Bora.
would love to. There you
Right.
go, Bora Bora. I would love to go somewhere where it's like white sand and beaches. And, you know.
So you wasn't happy coming back to Detroit then?
No, no. I actually wanted to stay in California a couple more days, but because we had this interview, I'm like, let me go ahead, just come back to Michigan, do this interview, knock it out, and then figure out where I'm gonna go after that.
All right. We appreciate you showing up on time.
Definitely.
So you are from Detroit, but you have lived in Virginia, and you went to school there. You went to Hampton University, right?
Yeah.
So how did you like it there?
Yeah, I loved Hampton. I loved the fact that I was away from home. And I think any young person, even if you don't go to college, go away from home. You know, travel, live somewhere else just so you can see the world and you can be able to experience other cultures, other types of people, other types of living. I think Hampton and Virginia really helped me grow up. It helped me, teach me about myself and have time to myself. And I think, sometimes we lean on certain people or our family as crutches when we get into certain binds or we have life things that we go through. And for me, just being so far away from home, it was like I got to figure it out. I got to understand how, to eat on my own, how to, get to where I need to go. If I'm hurt, if I'm injured, if I need someone to lean on, like I have to figure these things out. And I think for me, just coming from, from Michigan and Southfield and going to public schools and going to private schools, there were certain things I was sheltered from. And I feel like going away, I was able to, have those experiences and really grow up and mature and really like, understand and love myself, being so far away from home.
So you was just out there thugging it.
Yeah, just grinding, grinding. But I mean, I had the energy and the support of college, so I wasn't just by myself, So I had, other dorm mates, and I had, my teachers and certain people that I was able to, use as mentors in that time frame that I was out in Virginia. But at the same time, yeah, I grew up. It was certain things that I had to face, and I had to, really look myself in the mirror and say, okay, this is what I want to do. And that's where I really found myself, and I feel like that's where I was able to really start my business.
Okay. So what did you end up majoring in while you was there?
Yeah, so I majored in graphic design. I changed my major a couple times, and I ended up just landing on graphic design going into my junior year of college. And for me, art was always my passion. It was always something that I loved. It was always something that allowed me to express myself. So that was what I ended up going into. And in my mind, I was going to be, either an art teacher or I really wanted to be an architectural engineer as well. Like I was thinking about medicine, but then it was like, as far as like design, I was like, okay, maybe I can go into something that's design, something art-based. After I decided, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to go into the medicine field. It was really something that stuck and was like, okay, I could really show myself and make a way through my art.
So you have your own company called Red Period, and you started it in 2011 when you was at college.
Right.
So do you consider yourself a designer or a brand ambassador?
I would say I'm a designer.
Okay.
Because I like to create things with my hands. I'll literally create them from scratch. So like, even like this ring that I created, some of my bracelets, I literally take the pieces from string and design something with it. And for me, Red Period always symbolized that moving and wearable art. Just being an artist is like pieces that I create. It's my art that I'm putting out into the world. But people get to wear this and they get to exude that confidence and that spirit that I created the piece in. So for me, my pieces I always wanted to represent that as far as like being yourself, being unique, being bold, and having that passion to go after your dreams. And for me, I always wanted to be an art student. I always wanted to show that passion to the world. I mean, I loved poetry as far as like spoken word, but for me, art and creating pieces, that was my greatest way of showing my love for the world. What can I put out into the world? What could I create that'll be sustainable? And so that's where, I feel like a lot of my energy and ideas came from being in the sun, being by the beach, and enjoying, what I have and using my surroundings and being around my black people,
So is your you know, the struggles that you had when you was in Virginia, or just period, is that what made you want to start the company? So like, what inspired you to even, you know, start your brand?
Yeah, so what really inspired me was understanding that we're all going through something, whether it's big or small, whether you don't have food for your kids, whether your mom is still working and you're trying to retire her, whether you're trying to get a degree, whether you're trying to better your life, buy a house, something, everything, right? Everybody's going through something. And for me, to create my brand, I always wanted it to be like that pick-me-up. Like, okay, I got something that's representing something more. If I put this bracelet on, it's going to give me that energy and that spirit to be like, okay, I can conquer the world. Just like in a business meeting, a guy before that big meeting, he puts on a red power tie because he knows this is my power tie. I wear these ties in these meetings. I know I'm going to go out here and knock this deal and I'm going to make it happen. That's just like, you know, a dad putting on his daughter's jacket, putting on that backpack. Like, I know I got to go get it for my daughter because I got to make sure that she got shoes to go to school. You know, or for that person that's like, I got to make this next dollar, or I got to go to the studio and record because this song is going to help me retire my mom and put her up in the hills. Like, for me, that was always like what I wanted to create. That inspired me. You know, like everybody having that dream, everybody wanting to go and find something and go be about something. What can I create to give people that extra energy and that push to be like, yo, I'm going to put this piece on because I know what she represents and I know the energy she brings and I want to embody that. I want to exude that. So that's why I created Red Period. And I feel like I get that energy still, you know, from looking at my peers and seeing what they're doing and seeing like, okay, they trying to better the culture. They trying to better themselves, you know, outside of just like making a buck. Cause it's like, you can make a buck anywhere, you know, you could do a lot of illegal and crazy stuff to make some money, but it's like, what you going to do that's going to sustain, that's going to build a legacy, you know, and for you to put your name behind. And so for me, that's why I created it.
So when did you feel like, you know, Red Period kind of took off for you? You know, because you said you want to create something that's sustainable, you know, that's gonna last. Right, you know, when did you feel like it really took off for you?
I feel like Red Period really took off when I started doing Afropunk, and that's a music festival that I do every year. Well, I have been doing every year in New York. It's in Brooklyn, New York, and I feel like when I did that event, it really kind of solidified my brand just because of the response that I got when I went out there. And for me, that's really when I knew, like, okay, I have something that's meaningful. Like, the energy that I'm receiving from my pieces and my work that I put out there, the energy that I'm getting back is love, you know, and people are feeling it, and they feel that energy, and I can't deny it. So for me, it was like, okay, I know this is something that I need to continue to pursue, and I also know that this is a way for me to network and find other kindred souls and people that are similar to what I have to bring into the world. And I would say doing Afropunk, and then also, you know, collaborating with people, collaborating with other artists like Earth Gang. They got signed to J. Cole, you know, and those guys I actually met in college at Hampton University. And so I know Earth Gang signed to J. Cole, Giz signed to J. Cole, but I remember going to their first shows, you know, when they came out to Detroit. I remember going to their first shows in Hampton. We was in college together, you know. And I think for me, it's just crazy to see the growth and level that they have, you know, surmounted to, and the, you know, the amount of success that they've obtained since being at Hampton. And that really shows that, you know, that hard work and perseverance, it goes a long way. Yeah. And so when I started to see people like that really rocking my stuff on those types of platforms and touring the world, going to Europe, doing shows, it showed me like, man, you have something that stands the test of time because you got these, you know, timeless artists and other people that's gravitating towards your work. You know, that really made me feel like, okay, now I really have something.
Definitely, because, you know, I've seen what, you know, when you talk about seeing people in your brand, I think I seen what the Britney was in it. I think you posted like Kalani was in, you know, was in it, was wearing and stuff like that. So, you know, that really shows that people really rocking with you. You know, like I got my Red Period brand on. Like, y'all can't see me, but I'm rocking my hoodie.
Yeah, she got the Red Period, the Reckless Period hoodie on with the custom drawstrings. Me and Addictive Brand. Yeah. Shout out to Sade. Really we did a collaborative hoodie that we came out with. It's a tie-dye with the Reckless Period. I'm Red Period. She got a line called Reckless. Addictive Period. Shout out to Sade.
Yeah, and it's dope. And if you ain't got a piece, definitely get one. Because I know when it came in the mail, I had me a little bit of extra pieces that I ain't even pay for. And I had a little personal note. You know, like that right there really shows that you care for your consumer. You know what I mean? Who really buying for you? So
yeah, I think branding is everything. You know, those extra little touches. Because I know for me, I would love to get an extra piece. You know, it's just like with that hoodie, you need this extra bracelet, right? Let me show love. And I feel like any brand that really wants to be like one of the top tier brands of their market, you have to do a little extra for your consumers. And really, the customers are the tastemakers. They are the reason why you're in business. If you're not doing anything for your customers, you're not keeping them in mind every time you create, you're going to be out of business. And it's like you need to always give more, you know? So you're paying for something, you know, you valued at $50. I'm going to give you $120 worth of value because I know that's how you're going to stay and that's what you're going to put into me. You're going to tell your friends about it. Like, yo, I got this bracelet. I had a handwritten note, you know? And I always want to personalize and make you feel special because you actually took the time out to shop with me. You could have shopped with any other company, any other business. So I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate you sewing into me and sewing into my business.
Right, right. So how did you end up coming with the name Red, period? Because, you know, you had this company since 2011. I know, like, that period came out, like, what, like, about 2 years ago when, what, is it Megan Thee Stallion who, like, really branded
City
that?
City Girls,
right.
Hot Girl Summer, that's period.
Okay.
They had an album called Period. Yeah, it's funny you said that because I was just talking to my friend the other day about it. And it's just kind of funny when you think of things like coming full circle. I appreciate the movement because I think for me it made me it really showed me that I was onto something early, right? Because everybody's saying period.
Yeah.
And that's really why I created my business, was for it to be a statement like that. Because it's like whenever you feeling like you want to boss up, like, okay, I'm that person, period. I'm that dude, period. I'm the best rapper alive, period. Like, you say that, period. You always state in a statement, like, this is who I am.
Right.
You unapologetic about it. And that's really what I wanted Red to symbolize. My brand was to symbolize the red, which is power and passion and being bold and going after your dreams. And then to be that period where you unapologetic. You ain't gonna wave me off of what I gotta do. You know, I'm gonna be a boss about it, period. And that's just what it is, period. You know, and so that's really what I wanted it to symbolize. And I feel like over time it's been able to sustain that. And at the same time, you know, I think about it now, like, I should have trademarked that period back in the day because they would have been running me some checks by now.
Right.
But at the same time, I like how it's coming full circle because, you know, the ones that know, they know. You know who was doing it first, you know.
So I'm going to get a little bit childish. Nobody ever said anything about Red, period, because it's kind of like, you know, that time of the month. That time of the month.
You know, and I love it, too, because it's going to make you think. You're going to think about it. It's controversial because I have women like, it's an older woman because it's a period symbolizing women and having periods. And you know what? I like that because it's going to get people thinking. Yeah. People always going to talk about it. But I really didn't think about it as far as like red and periods. Yeah. But it's just, you know, it's something that people want to talk about. I like it because it keeps people talking. Yeah. You know,
and I think so, too. Like, you know, you're a female, so then they may be like, red, period. Like, is that what she's talking about? Yeah. But I like your other explanation better. I definitely feel that more.
Yeah.
I mean, what all do you make?
You said what type of pieces I make?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I have the finger rings. So it's like 2 finger rings. I make like beaded bracelets. Right now I also have like shoe tags. I got one on here, but I have like, let me see, different types of shoe tags that I'm coming out with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I seen you just had the opening for the release for it. Yeah.
I'm really just focusing on winter wear. I kind of have some different things that I'm working on, but at the same time, it's still the core pieces. So it's bracelets, 2 finger rings. I have like some custom hoodies that I'm working on. I also have like trucker hats and dad hats. But it's really my core pieces are the bracelets. You know, everybody rocks with the bracelets, but I definitely had the keychains and the shoe tags coming, you know.
Okay, all right. We definitely look forward to that. So we know you have your brand and everything like that, and you've created it from scratch. So what advice would you give somebody who is, you know, trying to get into that lane of expanding their brand or trying to be a designer? Because I know you've probably had struggles and also successes. You know, so what advice would you give somebody who's trying to like start their brand up?
Yeah. So what I would give any designer or artist that's coming up right now, I would say focus on your craft. Like, be the best at what you do. Like, if you want to make music or be a DJ, be a producer, study music, study different genres, study the equipment, study how to be better, you know, record yourself, play it back, see what things you could work on. If you're trying to be a painter or designer, like, you know, study different types of paint, study different types of genres, study different types of artists, you know, find a mentor, find different people that's in your field that you can network with, because I think the main thing as far as like artists and designers is finding other like-minded people when those times get tough. And I know for me, like being in my bubble as being a creator, we isolate ourselves a lot. And I know I've isolated myself a lot, but that was me working on my craft. But I knew that it was great those times when I stepped outside of my comfort zone and went and linked up with other artists or other creators. And I was able to kind of bounce ideas off of one another. I was able to, you know, just kind of talk to them, vent, and get some things off my chest. But I know, too, going into the marketplace, which I mentioned, being an expert in my craft, I'm like nobody else. When you stand out and when you're unique and you find, you know, like that niche market of who your core customer is, nobody can stop you. None of the big dogs, none of the small dogs, whoever, nobody can stop you because you have a field and a lane of your own. So I would say with any artist or anybody that's creating anything, find your community, which are other like-minded people, but also focus on your craft. Be the best at who you can be and make sure that you're going to stand out however that you are. Because it's always going to be the bigger dogs. It's always going to be other people that's doing it different ways. But if you're unique in who you are and you the expert at what you do, nobody can stop that.
Okay. So what do you have next for Red Period? I know you said you had your shoe tags that you just came out with. Is that what you're going to be pushing now, or do you have anything else that's coming for your brand?
Yeah, so right now the shoe tags and getting in some more stores. I got some other stores that I'm going to work on getting in. And then Burn Rubber, we're going to be in Burn Rubber 2020. We did the pop-up, so we definitely going to wrap up there. I would say right now is, like I said, hoodies, winter wear. I got some hoodies and winter wear. This is exclusive. Y'all hear me first. We're going to drop some exclusive hoodies. It's only going to be a limited run. I always like to do limited edition. Only a certain amount drop, because I always like that exclusive touch where it's only a certain amount that are made ever. So we're going to drop some of those. But then, too, just really focus on the branding aspect. I think, too, being young grinders, we always going for that next dollar or that next little kind of fix of, like, what we're working on. But I think sometimes it's always important to kind of take a step back and make sure that your branding and your marketing, everything is cohesive. So I'm also doing that, you know, kind of taking a step back as far as, you know, more of, like, people knowing the story, right? So that's why I appreciate y'all reaching out. But I think it's important for people to know the story and understand why you create what you create and what makes you different. And I think that's what shows the value of the brand. You know, just for like me creating bracelets and rings, it takes me 7 to 8 hours to make one piece. And I think it's important to tell that story. So I'm getting back to the core of telling my story so people can understand why I do what I do or how I do it, or, you know, what will make someone want to buy from me versus someone else.
Okay.
So that's really what's next for me.
Okay. All right. And then tell everybody how they can buy your brand, where they can find it at online.
Yeah, so for right now, I'm on Instagram at red.co, REDPRIODCO. I used to be red period, but my Instagram got hacked. So we got a new Instagram popping. They can find me also YouTube, All Red Everything TV. I also have my website, red.co.com, facebook.com/red.co. And yeah, I had a Twitter for a second, but
Twitter is just too much.
Twitter is too much. I feel like Twitter is really just like commentary. You know, I feel like the brands, real brands, you don't need to be on Twitter. That's what I think. Yeah. Gary Vee, I know he probably say you gotta have content everywhere, but I got YouTube, Instagram, and website. You can check me out. And then my personal page, My Red Life, if you want to see some model pics.
Yeah, if you want to see some pics with the abs, you know, she got the abs.
See, look, I've been slacking. I'm going to tell you, I've been slacking. My abs underneath here, in here, but I've been eating good. It's that winter weight. This bulking season. You know. Catch me spring, summertime. I'm going to be out, you know, 8-pack rocking.
Right.
You know, on my muscle woman girl stuff.